like that. Like, and that was after this sort of thing. So like, kind of crazy to think that they're going to show a woman's face literally getting torn off. A man also later in the film getting eaten alive by dogs until he dies. I mean, pretty brutal stuff here. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed this film.
There would be no Dahmer movie without Eyes Without a Face, Alec, or Dahmer show probably.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, dude, if you watch Dahmer, I don't want to get into that too much, but like, dude, it's as graphic and crazy as you can be, but like, it's one of the most watched shows on Netflix, and it's like, why? And it's like, because people want to see this kind of shit. That's why.
Damn.
It's a weird, like, human nature kind of thing. Like, I want to see messed up stuff. And this movie is probably one of the first ones to push the limit. Pushing it. They're pushing it in this one.
Seriously. I can't think of a movie before this that would ever even try to show stuff like this. Another question I had then for you guys is, what's up with these dogs?
Why does he have all these dogs? He has like doves too, and like birds. Maybe he's experimenting with dogs, or like testing on like animal testing. I don't know. Taking a bird's beak and putting it on a dog's face or something. I don't know.
I was very confused by the dogs. That era, for some reason, there's a viciousness of dogs that's featured in a lot of films from that era, but I can't remember any film that had as many dogs in it as this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's notorious. Like, people are like, hey, don't film with animals, don't film with babies, like stuff like that. This guy's like, no, I want like 50 dogs. Like, get them in here.
Like German Shepherd, like big ass tear you apart dogs.
Well, the only thing I could think of is, and I want to see if maybe you guys agreed, is there seemed to be a scene where it looked like he was like shaving a square off of like the German Shepherd, and I was wondering, is he gonna like cut the German Shepherd's like stomach and then like try and attach that to his daughter's face? Like,
I think it's animal testing. Yeah, I think that was the idea. Is he's testing skin graft and stuff like that, and what's rejecting and what's sticking.
So a dog's like, side, like rib skin, it's like, all right, we'll put that on her face. I don't know.
Dogs are probably easier to get than like chimpanzees, but that's just my take.
Or humans.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the way the movie really ends is kind of, I mean, it's probably the best case scenario. It's like the doctor gets eaten alive by his German shepherds. The assistant gets stabbed in the throat by Christon, who basically is like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't care about my face looking like this.
And she freed that last girl who was going to get her face ripped off, right?
That's right. So like one girl escapes. Actually, the two girls escape, and both the bad guys die. So like,
well, the one other girl that escaped fell to her death.
Right. She smashed Ghislaine Maxwell in the head.
Because she probably couldn't see because she was like, she had a face and bandages and stuff. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's dark.
It kind of reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where she runs out the window.
Busts through the window. Yeah.
Right. But she survives. She lands in like grass or whatever. And this girl's like, nah. Which kind of, I don't know. It was kind of anticlimactic that's how it ends, for her at least. But yeah, this definitely reminded me of like an earlier Saw, probably just because, I don't know, just the graphicness of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It makes me want to watch like a lot of older films and just kind of like take away the plot, like there's things you have to overlook. It's just never going to be as good. But I really enjoyed the story.
Couldn't agree more. And Alec, how many other 60s movies have we done on the wheel? I know we did Rosemary's Baby 2 years ago, and that was
Psycho.
A fantastic film. We did Carnival of Souls, which I think is 1960 or 62.
Yep. And The Birds.
So, The Birds, yeah. Peter, you might like Carnival of Souls. That has like that same black and white goodness that you're talking about. I think you'd really enjoy that one. It's short. It's unique though too.
Yeah,
give that one a go.
Definitely into that.
Yeah, and I want to know, like, the 60s, obviously none of us were alive and we can't ever look back, but like it just seems like every movie from the 50s, 60s, you're kind of like, oh, it's pretty good. But do they think they have like a Medea of the 60s, or like the Ernest films of the 60s? Like, you're like, it's shit, but like it's fun. Do you think they have those?
Like Pink Panther, maybe?
Were those bad though? I feel like those were all like good.
Ernest is good. What are you fucking talking about?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Is there... You're like, serious?
I am serious.
Didn't they have a Revenge of the Pink Panther though that wasn't as good?
Yeah, they have Revenge of the Pink Panther, Son of the Pink Panther, like Circumcision of the Pink Panther.
No, don't say it.
They're all over the place with those movies. I don't know. So
I took 3 years of French. I was gonna say I didn't know a lick of what they were saying.
I picked up
in middle school. I mean, you picked up a little things.
I picked up a couple things. I've been doing Duolingo French quite a bit.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, I really have. So certain words I do pick up, especially with the subtitles. Like, it's so much easier when the English subtitles come up at the bottom and then
All
you can
right.
see what it's translating.
What does omelette du fromage mean?
Omelet with cheese?
That's right, Dexter's Laboratory. What's gâteau? Do you know what gâteau is?
Cake?
That's right. All right. Okay, Alec. Okay. That's all I
Yeah.
know in French. I took 3 years of my life, classes.
I know more than I think I let on. I really do.
Bienvenue is like welcome, right?
Yeah, it's welcome. Yep.
I took 5 years of French, and I can't speak a lick at this point, and it's I don't understand when I watch movies and everything. So I wasted 5 years of my life.
I'm 3, man. I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I also just want to say, Eric, I don't know if you're aware, but there are multiple actresses still alive in this movie.
From 1960. Holy crap. I didn't really look up the cast. I just assumed. I know the doctor passed away because he's the only one I really looked up, but.
Yeah, he died a long time ago.
Let's look. So is Christian?
She's dead. I looked her up. She's dead. But honestly, all the other women are still alive. Not the Ghislaine Maxwell woman and not Christian. Wait, actually, I think Christian is alive. No, she's not. She died in 2019. Damn.
Huh.
But Edna and the first girl who get captured, they're both still alive. They're like 93 now.
That's wild. Yeah, dude. And I always say this when we were doing an old film, Peter. I'm like, respect your elders. Respect your elders.
Yes.
Love the old films because they kicked off a lot more than you'd give them credit for.
Something else that I want to note about that I was thinking about when I was watching the intro to this film. I love how these older films, especially from the 60s and before that, they like start with the title cards and then they have like this really dramatic music that sort of like sets the tone. And it's like it gets the vibes right for like watching a film instead of like just popping right into it and then slapping a title card on the screen and not even telling you who made the film and then getting right into it. Like I like that you get to know everything about who made the film, who wrote it, who's the camera person, like long before you even get a first shot.
That's a lost art too. They don't do that a lot anymore.
Well, do you know the first movie to really like to not do that and it got a lot of shit for it? It's a huge movie, one of the most popular movies of all time.
Gone with the Wind.
Star Wars.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So almost every movie before Star Wars was exactly like what you're talking about, Peter. They would have to show every single credit first, and George Lucas is like, "Nah, we're just jumping right into the action." And then since then, it's pretty much been like that ever since. But it is disrespectful. It's like people, the second the credits roll, they're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. And they just like leave the theater. And you're like, oh, okay. So all those people who put in so much work get no credit.
Like 3 minutes of rolling text of people, just no one sits through.
I always sit through the credits.
I do too, Peter. I do now.
I mean, unless I really hate
it. Well, Marvel movies, you kind of have to because who knows what's at the end of it.
Oh, God.
I'm joking.
Yeah, well, do you guys know The Lord of the Rings, the extended edition, has like 20 minutes of extra credits?
I believe it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to imagine if they did that for this movie. Maybe that's why they have to switch, because they're like, we can't do 20 straight minutes of credits, guys. For the movie. No one's going to stay. Doesn't matter how good the music is. No one's going to stay. Speaking
of music, I got to say this. I wasn't a huge fan of the music in this. It sounded like I was going to like a parade. Like right? Did anyone pick that up? I was like,
it sounded like Curb Enthusiasm. It was like Curb Enthusiasm a bit.
Not far from it, but it definitely not scary. But kind of reminded me of Carnival of Souls again, with like carnival music almost.
Right. I thought that it did not. That the music didn't really set the right mood for being a horror film, and like I think that's part of why. 15 minutes in, I was like, is this going to get scary?
All right, let me ask you guys, though. Is this a horror film? Or is this more of like a thriller?
It's a horror film, and it's gory, too. I give it gore horror.
What do you think, Peter? Would you classify this as a horror film?
I think it's horror because you know what's going to come. You know what's happening from the very beginning, and it's just about timing of this doctor abducting another girl and taking her face off.
Yeah, and I guess straight from the title, you're like, eyes without a face. I mean, I don't know. What did you guys think that meant when you heard that? Did you guys have any idea?
Actors going under the knife, like plastic surgery.
That's what you thought it was?
Like, no. I don't know. It's a good title.
Yeah, Peter, when I was like, hey, you want to watch this movie? Did you think like, what is this movie about?
I picked it because I thought it was going to be one of those really campy, bad horror films where like, it was just eyes and there was no face, and it was just like following people around, and like, something would happen to a body, but you wouldn't really see what would happen because it's an invisible thing that just has eyes and maybe like a trench coat or something.
I actually love that. So you literally thought it was like a B-50s horror movie with just eyes attacking
I didn't know it
people?
was from the 50s either. I thought maybe it was like one of those 80s films, like Halloween 5 or something like that.
Eyes without a face. That's pretty funny, actually.
Like I think of plastic surgery. Like, have you ever looked at like Joan Rivers with plastic surgery? That's eyes without a face. Like her eyes are there, and like that's not your face.
Yeah.
That's a good point too. That actually, yeah, somebody that gets like too much plastic surgery and they're unrecognizable. They're just eyes without a face. Yeah.
Michael Jackson, definitely eyes without a face. That guy.
Yeah.
Waste.
Damn.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. He should be the one who plays the eyes without a face in my campy horror film.
Dude, they need to remake this. I mean, they probably could.
There is a film that was like 2021 or something like that has the same name, but I doubt it's the same premise.
Yeah. There's a movie I just covered with Justin called Goodnight Mommy, which has Naomi Watts, and her face is covered up the entire movie too. So right when it started, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is a remake, but it's not. But it is kind of, to your point, Eric, it's about a actress who gets all this plastic surgery done, and she's got to cover her whole face up so you just see her eyes. So I was like, both of you guys really impressed me.
Look at us, Peter. We're impressing Alec.
Yeah. You made me laugh, Peter, and Eric, you made me think.
This is one of my prouder moments. I just want to mention, have either of you seen Faces of Death?
No. I know exactly what it is. I have not seen it. Have you seen it, Peter?
I went to a party once, and they were just playing it like in the background. And so I've seen it via that, but I didn't actively watch Faces of Death. But
what kind of party was this? Who the fuck would put that on in the background?
Weird.
I don't know, man. I've seen some weird parties with weird stuff on in the background. So,
what kind of party was this?
Is it like a bad thing to have on the background?
Yeah. Let him finish. We'll tell you what it is, Eric.
Sorry, Peter.
It was like a Houston hipster party, and they sometimes these parties go in like one of those weird directions. I remember there was another one of these like same parties run by the same people that were showing the film. I don't know if you guys know it. I think it's called like Solo 69 or something like that, and it's another really, really horrific film that I don't recommend anybody watch.
I haven't even heard of that one, but Faces of Death, Eric, I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. It's basically a collection. I want to say there's maybe 5, and they all just they were like viral videos in the late 80s of real murder and real animals getting killed and real people jumping off of buildings, and it was just this like, I mean, now with YouTube, it's like, I'm sure you can find stuff like that a lot easier, but back in then it was called Faces of Death 1, Faces of Death 2, and there's like monkeys getting electrocuted to death, just like the worst things you could ever see. You never heard of those, Eric?
No, but sounds like my kind of party. I mean, that sounds awesome. I can't wait to go. When's the next party?
Yeah, the Houston hipster party.
Jesus. Holy shit, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes back to my point about Dahmer. Like, why is this the #1 show on Netflix? I'm barely through episode 4. I'm like, I can't bring myself to watch this shit anymore, man.
Well, if you're interested in Dahmer, you should listen to our Fresh Film Friday episode that came out a couple weeks ago.
I know. I want to once I finish the show. I mean,
yeah, no. It is pretty. Have you seen that, Peter?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen the Dahmer show?
No.
Peter.
Is it?
Stop, man.
It's about Jeffrey Dahmer, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's pretty messed up. But I don't know. I mean, obviously that really happened, but it is a dramatized version of it where like Faces of Death is like legitimately like that's a guy jumping off of a building, like, and that's
messed up. That's really
yeah.
Really bad.
The other film was called Solo 120 Days of Sodom, so you can imagine what that film is about.
Oh my goodness, we don't need to go there. I can only imagine.
Oh man,
I can only imagine what that's about. That's horrible.
Jesus Christ.
What parties are you going to, Peter? What is this? Like,
what is Houston like?
I'll invite you guys to the next Houston hipster party.
Hey, let me FaceTime in and just like everyone.
This guy's FaceTiming in to watch Faces of Death. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah. We got to spin the wheel.
I was gonna say, Eric.
I cut you off. I've been cutting everyone off today, but yeah, you want to spin the wheel? We only have, I think, 2 episodes left. 2 left, yeah. Spinning. Yeah, it's Pretty tight. Nope. Spirit Halloween.